human beings are not governed purely by their own self-interest, so our management and HR system should not assume they are. For more than a year, Andrew Fastwood, the erstwhile chief financial officer of Elrond and the key architect of the Osborne Street enterprise that caused Elrond's sudden death, ran rings around the prosecutions investigating the collapse of the energy grant. Suddenly, he has pleaded guilty to charge that are likely to land him in prison for 10 years. Forfeit 29 million he personally made from operating the off-balance sheet entities and argued to fully cooperate with the prosecutors. Was cross-force about Trent was the likely indictment of his wife Leah Fosbrook. The only conditions he made for his plea bargains was that he and his wife should not go to prison at the same time. He wanted to ensure that his two children have at least one parent at home. Basically, he sacrificed his self-interest and his soul to protect the interests of his children and to lesser extent those of his wife, who was also his high school sweetheart. This was the same Andrews Fordwood who designed Elrond's entire management system around a firm where its employees pursue only their own self-interest. You may allow people to eat what they hunt, he used to say. Only then will they hunt well. It was the philosophy that made Elrond adopt one of the most extreme systems of individual incentives. When you start a new ventures within Elrond, you got phantom stock relevant only to your venture. As long as your effort made money, you got rich, irrespective of what happened to other parts of the company. As we saw, everyone in the world, including Fastwood, acted like hunters, looking out only for themselves. The results of such behavior are now well known. This is as ancient as conscious, and it is by no means unusual. Most managers know that they themselves and most other people care about others close to them in their personal lives. Their children or friends, perhaps even some of their neighbors, and that they would happily incur some cost to help these people. At the same time, they also believe that at work, people care only about their own self-interests, even if they do not explicitly believe that. They design their companies, organizational and managerial processes as if the motivations to voluntarily help others has no role in the office or the factory. The facts are clear. Most people pursue their self-interest at the same time, except for a pathological few. Most people also have an innate preference for helping others, and they like to help others not just as means to further their own self-interest, but also as an end in itself. This is equally true for people's personal and work lives. Also, this is not something as grand much more modern than that. It's just how all of us ordinary folk are. What would happen if senior managers recognized that it was possible to build an organization in which people derived as much joy from the success of others as from their own success, and decide their management process accordingly? Is firstly change those processes. As an example, make a quick inventory of your HR processes and put them into two categories: those that reinforce the self-interest-seeking behaviors of people, and those that support their helping others. Look at constant processes and mechanisms, no exception like value which, unless translated and embedded in specific practice, have little effects on behavior. How long a to-list? Can you do something to rebalance them? One positive difficulty you may face is that you do not quite know what you can do to support the more cooperative behaviors. For example, what specific kind of incentive system might you use? What kind of decision-making process can you adopt structurally? 2. What can you do to hardware so no selfishness, which is not at all the same thing as become and not the versus of self-sacrifice in your organization? These are among the key questions that we, fellows of the Advanced Institutes of Management Research, will be trying to answer. Much of the existing management resources make the same assumptions as philosophers make about what motivates people as what we will question and broaden these assumptions with the aims of coming up with rigorous research theory that are not victims of pessimism about people, and thus will, we hope, help to build high-performance organizations that are also dignified to again watch this space.